They say the real test of love doesn't happen at the altar. It happens the moment the doors close and the truth comes out. Michael had waited 20 years to marry the girl he loved since high school, but within hours of saying "I do," his entire world began to unthread. And inside that envelope, sitting on their wedding night bed, was a secret his bride had prayed he would never discover. What was in that envelope? Why did Amara's hands tremble every time she looked at Michael? And why, on the happiest night of their lives, did she disappear for exactly 11 minutes? Tonight, we unravel the truth behind a love story that was almost perfect. Michael grew up with big dreams, but small pockets. He was the boy teachers praised, but classmates ignored. Except for one girl, Amara. Beautiful, confident, warm. She saw him, not the poverty, not the struggle, just him. They promised to marry one day, but life had other plans. Amara's family moved away. Michael earned a scholarship, built a tech empire, became a billionaire, but he never forgot her. Years later, at a charity gala in Manhattan, he saw her again. She still had the same smile. Michael proposed months later. The wedding was grand. Stars, politicians, cameras. But beneath the joy, something was off. Amara avoided questions about her past. She changed the subject whenever family was mentioned. In the penthouse suite that night, there was a soft dinner, gentle music, Amara pretending to be calm but failing. She excused herself. 11 minutes. When she returned, she was pale, and on the bed was the envelope. That's when Michael realized this night was not going to end the way he had imagined. Before we go deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're new here, click on the subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Michael opens the envelope. He freezes. Amara begins to cry. Inside the envelope was a medical report. Her medical report. A report that revealed a past surgery, a condition she hid, a choice she made years before they reunited. A truth she feared would destroy everything. But none of those were the most shocking part. At the bottom of the report was a name, a child's name. Michael couldn't breathe. Amara had a child? But that wasn't the secret. Not yet. Michael asks, "Where is the child?" Amara breaks down. "Michael, he's gone." Amara reveals the truth. Years before, when life became difficult, she was forced into a decision. Her family had lied. The man she had been with briefly abandoned her. She raised the baby alone. Then one night, her son disappeared, stolen by her ex's family. For 5 years she searched. For 5 years she suffered. And just months before meeting Michael again, she learned the boy was alive, but in the care of dangerous people. She feared if Michael found out, he would become a target too, so she hid the truth. She didn't hide the child because she was ashamed. She hid him because she wanted to keep Michael alive. The final twist hits. The child's father wasn't her ex. Amara looks Michael in the eye and whispers, "Michael, he's your son." If this story already has your heart racing, type "I'm still watching" in the comments. Let's see who's following till the very end. Michael collapses into a chair. A son? A child he never knew existed? Confusion, anger, love, loss, all of it crashed into him at once. Amara stood there, her face wet with tears, bracing for him to walk out, to curse her, to end it all. But then Michael stands up. He holds her hands. "We're going to find him." Those 4 words changed everything. Amara had carried this weight alone for so long, convinced she would lose Michael the moment he knew. But instead, he chose to stay. He chose to fight. Years before their lives pulled them apart, during their final months together in high school, Michael and Amara had shared a brief, innocent intimacy born of young love and unspoken promises. When Amara's family moved away shortly after, she discovered she was pregnant, but Michael was already gone, unreachable, chasing a future neither of them knew would come so fast. Afraid, pressured, and misled by her family, Amara was convinced it was better to disappear than to burden a boy who had nothing yet but dreams. The dates matched, the medical records confirmed it, and later, a quiet DNA test Michael ordered sealed the truth beyond doubt. Ethan was not a coincidence, not a mistake, not the result of another man's life. He was the living proof of a love that had begun long before wealth, before power, before the world separated them. Ethan was Michael's son, born from a past neither of them truly left behind. That night, they didn't sleep. They sat at the dining table with old photographs, names scribbled on napkins, fragments of memory Amara had tried to bury. Michael made calls, quiet calls, careful calls. He knew that involving the wrong people could put the boy in more danger. He hired a private investigator, someone who specialized in cases like this, cases the law had failed. The first few weeks were agony, dead ends, false leads. Amara would wake up in the middle of the night, her body shaking, wondering if they would ever find him. Michael would hold her, whispering promises he wasn't sure he could keep. But he didn't stop. He couldn't. One evening, the investigator called. "We have a location." It was a house outside the city, tucked away in a neighborhood that didn't ask questions, the kind of place where people disappeared into quiet lives, hidden from the world. Michael and Amara drove there together. The air in the car was thick with fear and hope. "What if he doesn't recognize me?" Amara whispered. "What if he's scared?" Michael reached over and squeezed her hand. "Then we show him he's safe. We show him he's loved." They arrived at the house just before sunset. It looked ordinary. A small yard, a rusted fence. Nothing about it suggested the life-altering moment that was about to happen. Michael knocked. A woman answered. Her face went pale the moment she saw them. She tried to close the door, but Michael stopped it with his hand. "We're not here to cause trouble. We're here for the boy." The woman hesitated, then stepped aside. Inside, the house was dim. There were toys scattered on the floor, a half-eaten sandwich on the table. And then, from the hallway, a small boy appeared. He couldn't have been more than 6 years old. Dark, curly hair, big, curious eyes. Michael's eyes. The boy looked at them, silent, cautious. Amara's knees nearly gave out. She covered her mouth, trying not to cry too loudly, trying not to scare him. Michael knelt down slowly, his hands trembling. "Hey there," he said softly. "What's your name?" The boy didn't answer at first. Then, quietly, he said, "Ethan." Michael's chest tightened. "Ethan." He looked up at Amara, and she nodded, tears streaming down her face. That was the name she had given him. That was her son. Michael stayed kneeling, his voice gentle. "Ethan, I know this might be confusing, but I'm your father, and this," he gestured to Amara, "is your mom. We've been looking for you for a very long time." The boy tilted his head, studying them. Then he looked back at the woman standing in the doorway. She said nothing, just looked away. Ethan took a small step forward. "Are you taking me away?" Michael's heart broke at the question. "Only if you want to come with us. We want you to be safe. We want you to be loved." The boy thought about it. Then, slowly, he reached out his hand. Michael took it, and in that moment, everything he thought he knew about love, about family, about second chances, it all made sense. The legal battle that followed was long and exhausting. Michael used every resource he had to ensure Ethan's safety and their rights as his parents. Amara testified. She relived the trauma. She faced the people who had taken her son. But this time, she wasn't alone. Michael was beside her every step of the way. Months later, the court ruled in their favor. Ethan was officially theirs. The first night Ethan came home to their penthouse, he was quiet. He walked through the rooms like he was in a museum, afraid to touch anything. Amara made him his favorite meal, spaghetti with butter and cheese, something she remembered from when he was a baby. They ate together in the dining room, the three of them, a family that had been torn apart and stitched back together. Michael watched Ethan carefully, noticing the way he flinched at loud sounds, the way he hesitated before speaking. This would take time. Healing always does. But there were small victories. One night, Ethan asked Michael to read him a bedtime story. Another night, he crawled into bed between Michael and Amara after a nightmare, and he stayed there until morning. Slowly, the walls came down. Slowly, trust was rebuilt. Amara started taking Ethan to therapy. She went too. They talked about the years they lost, the pain they carried, the hope they still had. Michael learned to be a father, not the kind he had imagined, but the kind Ethan needed. Patient, present, steady. And in those quiet moments, when Ethan laughed at something silly or held Michael's hand while crossing the street, Michael understood something profound. Love isn't about perfection. It's about showing up. It's about fighting for the people who matter, even when the fight is hard, even when the outcome is uncertain. One evening, about a year after they found Ethan, Michael stood on the same balcony where this story began. The storm had long passed. The city glowed below him. Amara stepped out beside him, wrapping a blanket around her shoulders. "You okay?" she asked. Michael nodded. "I was just thinking about that night, our wedding night." Amara looked down. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner." Michael turned to her. "Don't be. You did what you thought you had to do to protect him. To protect us. I understand that now." She leaned into him. "Do you ever regret it, marrying me, knowing everything that came with it?" Michael looked at her, then back at the city. "Not for a second." Amara smiled, tears in her eyes. Inside, they could hear Ethan playing with his toys, his laughter echoing through the penthouse. That sound, that simple, beautiful sound, was worth everything. And in that moment, Michael learned something powerful. Love is not perfect. It is tested, stretched, broken, and rebuilt. Sometimes the past doesn't return to hurt you. Sometimes it returns to complete you. The wedding night that nearly destroyed them became the beginning of something stronger, a family born not out of ease, but out of endurance, not out of luck, but out of love. And that is the kind of love that lasts. If this story touched your heart, tell me in the comments, what would you have done if you were Michael? Would you have stayed and fought, or would the weight of the secret have been too much? And if you want more emotional, cinematic stories like this one, make sure you subscribe, because the next story might just change the way you see love.